All right, guys, we're going to approach this a little bit different. This is a discussion video on both of these devices right here. This is my Z Fold 7 that I got from Samsung on loan, and this is my Z Fold 6 that I purchased last year. So I'm not trading this in regardless. Even if I buy the mint version or whatever, I buy another, like when I have to send this back on loan, I'm not gonna get rid of my Z Fold 6. It's just too good. And it's a terabyte version, and it is, I just like it. I can use it to record and do a bunch of things with it. And by the way, speaking of recording, this video has been recorded with the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge. Hope you love the content, and also the mic I'm using is the Fifine K688. Link will be in the description to grab this product. So we're going to look at this from a different approach. What was the original price of the first Galaxy Fold? Those of you that remember, you'll know it was over $2,000. Remember that? It was over $2,000, and people jumped all over it. They complained about it, but they jumped all over it, and they loved it. Some people just loved it. Some people still have it today. Now, I say the history of the Fold hasn't changed very much at all. So while we have people complaining about the price today, or, okay, let's be nice, have people offering their opinion on the price today, has the price really changed? Has it really changed? Absolutely not. So this phone started at $18.99. This one starts at $19.99. Yeah, but that's a starting price of a difference of $100. But look at what you're getting for that $100. Now, you do your own research and you go back and look at each of the prices for the Fold lineup, and you tell me that it's changed a lot. You tell me that it's actually it's been inflated and that it's just really, really, really such a big difference. Now, to be clear, I have a golden rule personally. I try to look out for the consumer, but I'm a tech enthusiast to the core. So this is why I get in with all these phones, and I buy these phones sometimes because I really want to experience all the latest tech. But you always tell you don't have to. I always tell you don't have to. I always say you can live vicariously through me if you just don't want to do it. Let me be the one to blow money on stuff like that. Because sometimes the return just isn't there when you do content creation. Some creators won't tell you that, but you go out and spend 10 grand and you only make back 9,000 or you make back 7,000. There's always going to be a loss sometimes. Thank goodness I'm still in the black and I haven't taken really a loss, but still it can happen to anybody. But the trend that the pricing on these phones are ridiculous. Yeah, they are. I'm not saying that these pricings on these products are not ridiculous. They're very high. However, my golden rule is once I get past $400, it better be impressive. I try to look out for the consumers by, showing them other products that are very impressive at low pricing. But what I find is I'm talking to a brick wall. Some people really want to live in this lane when they can't afford to. That is not an insult or a put down. That is a reality check. If your only complaint is that this is too expensive, you're in the wrong lane. You're in the wrong lane. You cannot tell a company this is what your phone should cost because this is what I'm willing to pay. The only way you can voice that and make it work is as the collective stop buying the product. And the fact of the matter is, these are great products. Tech is so good today. It's incredible. Remember how the first Fold came out? It was just not very good. It was good for the time, but there were other phones out there that were way ahead of its time that cost less. So the price on these aren't inflated. They're gradually moving along. When you look at the history of the Fold, you can try to tell me I'm wrong if you want to. You can prove me wrong if you want to. That's fine. But I know the history of the pricing of the Fold, and I know what the Fold used to cost. And I know what every Fold has cost because I bought each Fold. So the pricing is the pricing. This, my friend, is the biggest jump for $100 you'll ever see right now on a Fold from Samsung. This is the biggest jump. Now, in the comparisons, you won't see Samsung really comparing it to the 6 or the 5 because they're kind of close, but I think they should. Like, I'm going to show you an email that they send out when you register. Hold on. This is an email that goes out. If you pre-registered and you're getting that $1,200 off for the trade-in, this is the email that goes out. They're comparing it to the Fold 4. And shout out to Uno Nice. He's trading in his Fold 4 and he's getting a great deal. Simply put, I mean, if you have a Fold 4, let me go to the trade-in value on the Fold 4 real quick. Let me see here. Let's go to the trade-in value on the Fold 4. I'm pulling it up on another screen here, but I'm just going to tell you what the trade-in value is. Samsung trade-in value on a Fold 4. Fold 4 now. Fold 4 is $800. A Fold 5 is $500. A Fold 6 is $1,000. So getting a trade-in value of $800 on a Fold 4, that's a great deal, folks. I think Uno Nice, I think he's the one that's trading in. Let me confirm here. I'm pretty sure it was him. He's trading in. Yeah, Uno Nice, he's trading in his Fold 4 and getting $800. That's still a nice phone, but this is the ultimate fold from Samsung, period. And if you check out how much the Fold 4 originally cost, you really would look at it differently from the point of view I'm trying to share with you. Look at these differences here. This phone now has what some would consider what we've been asking for years, a regular sized screen on the front, 6.5 inches. Look at the differences in the upgrades here. Incredible. So the pricing structure, folks, I hope I don't offend too many people by saying, hey, stay in your lane. But I've been saying that for years. We get this same trend every time something releases. We start to tell the OEMs, whether it's Apple, Google, Samsung, whoever, we start to tell them what the pricing should be. But we're just telling them, hey, I can't afford it. I need to be at this price point, and this is where I want you to make an adjustment for me. You know what I mean? People say that online. I just think it's crazy. Oh, I'm not defending anybody. I'm not defending Samsung, Apple, or Google, or any of the big brands. I'm just telling you, if no one else has told you, companies aren't making these phones to please all consumers. They're trying to get bread. They're trying to get paid. They're trying to stay relevant. And yeah, Samsung took the long route and finally gave us a real fold for the US. But for $100 difference, you're looking at a major upgrade. You got an 8-inch display now on the internal. You've got no longer this under display camera. Oh, that was in power mode. No longer the under display camera. That doesn't exist anymore, because when you open this up, it has a real camera poking out. So when you think about this now, they gave us what they should have given us a long time ago, and it only cost us 2 years and $100. I mean, think of it that way for just a second. 2 years and $100, major upgrade. The under display, we all trashed it. It was horrible. It looked good enough if you were somebody who didn't care what you looked like on camera during your conferences. But now you have a regular 10 megapixel camera in there. I think that's worth $100. And then when you look at it like this, you got an 8-inch display. Look at how much bigger this 8-inch display looks. Again, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm just looking at it from a different point of view. I want to see it I want you to kind of just give it a chance. Try to understand more than just your point of view. I try to do it too. Case in point, when people said the Razr Ultra was great, and I said, I don't think it's worth the money. Then when I got it, I was like, I still don't think it's worth the money, but it is a great phone. It is definitely not worth $1,300, and I'll get to that later. But it is, in fact, better than some foldables in that form factor. I give respect to that. But this, for $100, we got pretty much a under display camera gone, and we got a real camera there. We got a much bigger display. This is crazy. Like when you're looking at this, you really don't think that the 8 inches from 7.6 or whatever it is going to be that much of a difference. But when you hold both of these in hand, you're going to say, man, instead of 7x6, it's 10x9. Yeah, folks, that's a big improvement. And so I think that's worth $100. Let me see something here if I can change this. There we go. I just put them to the same wallpaper. That's all I was doing. Check that out. Major change. Big upgrade. So should you upgrade? Absolutely. This is worth $100. Because when you think about it, that's the price increase. People complained about this one. Now they're complaining about this one's price. So should you upgrade? Yeah, you should. I think that's worth $100. You get a regular camera coming through, and you get a much bigger display. Now, should you upgrade as far as hardware goes? Now, some people said, I just don't like it. I don't like how narrow the 6 is. It needs to be wider. Okay. Well, that $100 included us to get a wider display. They included us to get a wider display. I think that's worth $100. So that's a wider display. That's a real camera on the inner display and a bigger screen on the inner display. I think that's worth $100. I think it's worth $100. Now, some people also said, man, you know, the Fold 6 feels amazing in the hand. Wait until you feel the Fold 7. I'm telling you, folks, you can look at my videos all day. You can watch your favorite creator, J. Will, but you got to get out there and you got to experience it for yourself. This phone now feels so chunky. It's crazy. And the crazy part is it's really not. But when you see it next to this phone, ooh, wee. It's like, are you serious, Samsung? You really did a number for that $100. You think of it like that? Think of it with that perspective. Now, it's not all roses. It's not all roses. Some of you guys are furious. I mean, you are furious that Samsung took away the S Pen from the Fold lineup. And I said, why don't you grab one? Now, those of you that know, I bought the case, the S Pen case for I think it was the Fold 5, and I think I have an S Pen for this one too, but I can't find it for some reason. But I've also said for years, I've been promoting these right here. These are just these little $1, or you can get a 5-pack or 10-pack for $5 or whatever. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to grab one of these style of pens, because someone was telling me that this won't work on the Fold 7. Okay, these little capacitive pens work on everything. Apple, Android, it doesn't matter what screen it is. It works. Anything that's a touch screen, these little things will work. I know this because I do it every day. I use it on my touchscreen Windows laptops, my iPad, these Android phones, my Apple phones. I use it everywhere that has touch capabilities. That's why I'm so adamant, and that's why I have been for years. Okay, you don't have to get this little chunky one that I have here. They have ones that I'll link in the description that are longer. It's like a regular pen and has a smaller tip on it, but it's the same thing. You're just buying one that looks more like the size of a pencil. That's all you're doing. And I respect it. So I'm going to leave a real nice one down in the description so you can grab yours. But I understand how you feel about them taking away the functionality of the S Pen. Yeah. So many people are up in arms about this. Folks, like I said, I'm not mad at you because you say you might use the S Pen more than me. I use the S Pen like, so it's incredible, but I don't feel the need, and we all get an opinion. I get it. I don't feel the need to express what a company should have done or what they're not doing. I just feel the need to give a resolution. We can sit around and complain about it all day, but now that the S Pen functionality is taken away, and those people told me, well, this won't work. It won't. Those don't work on. Oh, let me go do the front display first. Those don't work on the Fold 7 because they have some kind of special technology where we won't allow it. You see me using one on the Fold 7's front screen, and you'll see me use it here. And I'm just so confident because this little form of capacitive stylus works on every type of touchscreen. So they even make different kinds. And some of you guys are going to say, well, they took away the technology. They took away their S Pen technology. They took away their S Pen technology. That's what they took away. That's what they took away, their S Pen technology. I'm not denying that at all. Should they have left it? Sure. Okay, great. Because that way I can have a bigger canvas to edit with the S Pen. However, I still have my own stylus that comfortably works. And I've edited with this pen so much, man. Even though it's got, you guys looking at the tip of it saying it's too fat and bulky, but I have edited with this so many times, man. It is incredible. It's incredible. So there is a resolution. It's just about whether or not you want to take the steps. And who knows, man, if enough people see complaining about something, saying the company, they should have done this and they should have done that. Continuing with that approach doesn't get anywhere. Show them that you want a stylus back and they'll give it to you. When I was at the event, I made a request. I've been making this request for years, and I'm not going to give up. And it's right here. I've been making this request for years. Let me see. Hold on. Let me flip my screen here. Where is it at now? Let's see here. Oh, no, we got to go to regular video. And I've been making this request for years. 4K. So when I was invited to the Samsung event, I talked to the person who could actually do something about it. And he said, you know what? I'm going to look into that. The last time I made a change on something, it was just somebody, a creator. He said, you know, you got to push for this. So I told him, I said, hey, push for that. I want 4K and 10:9. I've been wanting 4K in this resolution ever since I found out these fold phones could do it. So I talked to him. I talked to the man directly. He said, you know what? I'll look into that. And I hope he does. And I said, in a year or two, if it comes, it comes. But I like to record in this form factor when I'm recording folding phones, because it gives folding phones a full resolution. So you guys are complaining about the S Pen being gone. And when I say complaining, I don't mean complaining like in a derogatory way. I mean, like, what's your resolution? I've given you a resolution, whether you like it or not. What would you do if, remember when Apple was like, well, you're holding it wrong? Remember the antenna gate? And Apple was like, you're holding it wrong. Everybody was furious about that, but they still use the phone. So I say to those people who keep on saying, it doesn't have S Pen support. This is regular universal stylus support. I'll leave a link once again to these in the description. And it's not going to be this one. This one's like 10 years old probably. But the better looking ones, I don't have to look good. I need functionality. And I paid $1 for this 10 years ago. And it still works. And I cherish it because I don't have to ever complain about a phone not having support for a stylus or some kind of input pin. But nonetheless, I've been complaining about that. I want to get 4K recording in 10:9, and I actually thought it would be on the Galaxy SE, the Galaxy Fold SE. I really did. I thought that, and we all thought that was going to basically be this phone in a different changed name, but it's not. It's better. This is better, way better. So I decided I'm going to talk to the people that can actually do something about it. Since they invited me to the event, it isn't all roses. There is some serious networking going on at these events. People are trying to get things done. So that question about should you upgrade, I'm just explaining it to you a different way. I'm saying the same thing as some of the people might be saying, but I'm just trying to be tactful. That's it. Is this a major upgrade? I'm going to say yes. Now, there's a complaint that a lot of people have, and it's the battery. And I think you're looking at it wrong. What, Jay? They screwed us. How am I looking at it wrong? They screwed us over. No, they didn't. Think about it this way. The phone I'm recording with is the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge. Everybody said they got screwed over on that phone when they first heard about the battery size. Remember people was flipping out about that battery size of 3900? Saying that they decreased the battery size? Well, they didn't decrease the battery size. They gave you the first version of a new product, which is the Edge. The S25 Edge has a 3,900 milliamp hour battery, and this is the first generation of their slim phone lineup. And this is another version in the folding form factor of what they can do with slimness. So that said, did they decrease the battery, or did they leave it the same and give you more? Do you understand what I'm saying? This phone battery could have easily dropped in milliamps because this phone is so much thinner. But when you think about it, a lot of people said, hey, they should have done a silicone battery technology. What you should think of it, another way you can look at that. That's all I'm saying. Just hear me out, son. Another way you can look at it is though, this phone still has the same battery as the 6, like performance-wise, if not a little better in some areas probably, depending on who you are, and they didn't decrease the battery. They could have easily decreased this battery to 3,900 or 4,000. Then I feel like you would have something major to complain about. But for that $100, I think we got a major upgrade. I think we got a killer upgrade for that $100. Don't you? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Do you understand my point of view? We can sit around and talk about, should you upgrade? Is it worth the upgrade? This is for sure worth the upgrade when you think about that $100. Now, I'm just trying to think logically here and give you a different point of view. You see it how you want to see it. You can say, oh, Jay, they sent you that phone, so that's why you're saying that. But people who actually follow my channel know, no, I'm not tap dancing for anybody. I've always thought logically, and I always try to give you the lowest price on things. But this lineup here is the expensive lineup. If it's too much for you, go back to the other lineup. Because these pricing on these phones are not going to go down anytime soon. Every year, if they increase it $100, but they do something major like this, are you still going to view it the same? Next year, they bring out the Fold 8 or whatever they're going to call it, right? It has the same form factor, but it has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. All right, I'm back. So they released this new phone, and it's called the Fold 8. It looks exactly the same. They have different colors, but it has a 4,800 or a 5,000 milliamp hour battery inside. The price is $99 more. They give you 4 new colors. They give you upgraded cameras. They upgrade the processor inside. They give it some new functionality. Is it still not worth it? Just hear me out. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I'm not saying anything of that nature. I'm just saying, instead of looking at it through one single lens that the entire internet seems to be looking at it through, look at it through this lens. Hear me out on what I'm saying and just kind of try to think about what I'm saying for just a second. $100 price increase between these two, but this is a killer upgrade. I mean, killer. There are so many people trading in this 6. If this wasn't a 1 terabyte, I would trade it in. I would trade it in for the Mint. But if I can get it in a 1 terabyte, but I can't get the Mint in a 1 terabyte, I can only get it in blue or black. And Samsung loaned me the blue one. So I'm going to use this blue one until whenever I have to send it back to them. And then I'll order the Mint. But I'm definitely not going to give up my 1 terabyte for a 512 gig Mint for the same thing. So the question, should you upgrade? That's going to be up to you. But hopefully I've given you enough reasonable ways to look at this other than just saying it should be 1,700. They should have released it at 1,500 sound. They took away the S Pen. They didn't even increase the battery. Well, the way I see it is this is a changing of the guards. And as I explained to you before, the S25 Edge that I'm recording with, by the way, has a 3,900 mAh battery. It's the first generation of their slim phone form factor, starting up again. This is the first generation of the new direction of the Fold. So they didn't decrease the battery, but they didn't increase it either, but you still got good battery life. The pricing, $100 difference. But look at what you got for $100 difference. Do you understand? Do you feel me? All right. It's your man, Jay. Should you upgrade based on them taking away the S Pen functionality? Should you upgrade based on them not increasing the battery size on a phone that technically is a name up, but this is an entirely different product? You'll see once you get your hands on it. I guarantee you. There are so many people that are in awe of this phone. And I do understand that right now you're only looking at people who got this on loan for review units. But I'm not just an influencer. I talk to you straight the way it is. I give the information to you from my point of view. You don't have to agree, but I'm trying to be as logical as possible with every review that I do, because I actually do a real review. I use the product. So I'll be following up on maybe like a 7-day. I've been giving you a bunch of different videos, knocking out things that people have been asking me about. What does it feel like? Is the size different? I just kind of put all that stuff out there already. So I've got my Flip 7 coming, and I didn't trade in. I didn't trade in my Z Flip 6. I'm keeping this. I just like this form factor. I've traded in every year. And I'm just going to keep this one to compare it next to show you the difference between this and the Flip 7. The Flip 7 is nice, man. It's got a much bigger display. It just looks really nice. And I just think you're really going to like the Flip 7 a lot. Some people are sleeping on it, but I think you're really going to like it once you get your hands on it. So nonetheless, discussion video. Should you upgrade from the 6 to the 7? If you don't have the terabyte, you know, if you like black or blue, then yeah, swap it for the terabyte version of the 7. But I just don't want to give up my terabyte version for a 512 gig version of this phone for the Mint. If I wanted another black or blue phone, I would, but I don't want another black Fold. I want the Mint. And then unfortunately, it's no 1 terabyte option. So should you upgrade to this product right here? One more reason I'm going to tell you why you should, and then I will get out of here. Cameras. They've now given you the Galaxy S25 Ultra camera, 200 megapixel camera on this one, and also the phone I'm recording with, the S25 Edge, has a 200 megapixel camera. Now, those are just megapixels. Those are just numbers. But I went on a photo shoot with Samsung. They took us on this photo shoot, and I used every photo that you're going to see in this video that's coming up. If it's not already released, you can watch it, but if it's not released to record this video, you're going to see photos. And I know that over the internet, it's hard to understand the quality of something. You have to see it as it's taken on the device. But I got to tell you, this 200 megapixel camera will impress you. It is a major upgrade over this 50 megapixel camera. That was another thing that people complained about. Oh, it should have put the Galaxy S25 Ultra's cameras on there. Well, they gave you the 200 megapixel camera, son. And the quality is great. I've already recorded at the hotel. I think I recorded at the hotel a video talking about this phone, I believe, and people couldn't believe it was the phone. They just couldn't believe that it was the Fold 7 recording that. Yeah, the cameras are greatly improved, and for $100 difference, it's totally worth hammering that home to people who feel like they're getting shafted by this price point, especially if you bought the 6. How are you getting shafted? And if you have a trade-in, what difference does it make? I mean, come on, son. $100 difference gets you a lot more. See it. Accept it. If you don't want to, again, there's another lane you should be in. Because if you're really in this lane and you're still harping on these phones being expensive, folks, we know they're really expensive. There's a difference between being expensive and overpriced. These phones are expensive. It's your man Jay. Use link in the description. Grab yours if you haven't already done so. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.